Hello and welcome to another update video about BNB. Yeah, BNB, I think, is close to a decision here. Okay, so we've been talking about a potential Elliott Wave triangle that's unfolding here. It's pretty ugly. And we can argue, is the C wave here? Is it here? There are different ways of looking at this. But either way, it looks like a triangle, like an Elliott Wave triangle, okay, with an A wave to the upside, a B wave down, a C wave up, D wave down, and one more lower high would be preferred. We're on one track, okay. In the last update, I think we were down here and explained to you, okay, ideally we push a little higher towards resistance, ideally into resistance, which would be here between $216 and $219. And as soon as we get into this region, ideally we see a reaction. So it's not strong enough yet that E wave. Ideally, I'd like to see it a little higher. There is not really a rule how strong an E wave should be, so we're going to take a look at that in this video. But preferred scenario is that this is a fourth wave triangle, which would result in a fifth wave to the downside with a target between $200 and $184. The $184 level is the 2022 low. And ideally, we do not break below that, but we might do. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on the next step, which is likely another low into that yellow box here. And then we'll see how the reaction to that box is. This here shows a trend line. So we've got a potential trend line there that is worth observing. And a break below the trend line could be a first indication that indeed the trend is continuing to the downside, okay, in this fifth wave, or the fifth wave, or the C wave, and so on. So break below the trend line will be a first indication that things are breaking into the expected direction. A break above the C wave high at $222 basically would force a recount of the triangle. It would not invalidate the triangle. It would invalidate the microstructure, as I have put it onto the chart here, but it would not invalidate the overall triangle. The overall triangle will only be invalidated if the price breaks above the $235 level. Then I would seriously have to consider if the low is in. At the moment, however, all the movements of the last lows have been corrective. You can see that all the rallies have been three-wave rallies. So no indication, no confirmation that a lasting low has been established here anywhere. And therefore, I'm really watching for a breakout to the downside. Things can always change, but if they do, it's not very evident yet in the chart. So yeah, watch the trend line. And also, if we get below the B wave low, this is obviously really good confirmation that we're breaking down below $204. Also, double bottoms rarely hold. So yeah, I'm watching for this to break to the downside. Nothing very bullish here at the moment on the chart. Target to the downside was mentioned. Yeah, I mean, how could the E wave unfold? Now let's go to the 1 hour chart. Really microstructure here. So probably this D wave finished here. And yeah, how could the E wave unfold? I mean, the E wave is the last wave of a triangle, right? And typically when that's finished and you start to see movement into the direction of the expected breakout, which would be to the downside, that is the moment to potentially consider a short trade. Not telling you to do it, that depends on your skills, It's always how tradable a wave count is depends on the trader skill. But an E wave would likely be an ABC structure. So I'm watching here for this structure. A wave potentially done, B wave, C wave, and looking at micro support. $211 is micro support. Ideally, we turn around to the upside before we break below $211 in the current microstructure. I just leave that microstructure on the chart. If we calculate, I mean, I can, based on that, I can even calculate a target. But I mean, we're now here on the 1 hour chart. It's micro counting. Let's assume the low is in. It's a bit too early to confirm that, but let's assume it is. Then I would be watching the $217 level potentially. It's the 1-to-1 ratio. It's also very close to the 61.8 retracement level, $217.20. So pay attention to that level. And at the very least, I would expect the C wave to go above the A wave high. And the condition is that $211 is holding. Obviously, if we break down earlier, then I have to consider that this E wave already topped. but that's not what I'm primarily watching for right now. Okay, that's my update about BNB. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.